That's us.
That's you. There you go. Good to have you here, sir.
Thank you.
Have a seat. Welcome. And you're a first-timer to Mesa Morning Live, and you won a prize, and now there's no better prize than getting to talk to me for a few minutes.
Well, that's true. Plus, I get to follow those great top 10 notations you had.
By the way, I think it's pretty obvious. If you would like to write a top 10 list, that job is open. And we will let you be our sponsor. So if you've got any ideas for a top 10 list, we're obviously hurting for ideas. So Jim, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what do you do, and why you're here.
You're probably not going to believe I'm from South Phoenix, so I'll fess up to being from North Carolina.
No.
As you mentioned, I'm the president of the Mesa, or what used to be the Mesa Veterans Parade. We're now the East Valley Veterans Parade Association, and our purpose is quite simply to produce a Veterans Parade annually for the purpose of recognizing and honoring our military veterans, active military, and their families.
That's awesome. Now, I know it says you're from North Carolina, but you're from Salisbury, North Carolina.
Yes.
And that's also the home of?
The steak.
Is Elizabeth Dole from there?
Elizabeth Dole is from there.
So it's home for the steak and the pineapple.
Mm-hmm. Salisbury is actually a little small southern college town, and Elizabeth Dole was actually originally Elizabeth Hanford, and her parents ran a big wholesale florist in town.
Well, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Did you know her growing?
I know her enough to speak to her, but that's all. No, I didn't know her when we were growing up. She's considerably older than I am.
Those of you at home watching on Channel 11, keep in mind that the camera adds about 10 years. So I had you pegged about 38, 39, somewhere in that general area.
I was once that, yes.
Well, that's awesome. I know you've got a long history of parade management. Now, see, I didn't realize there's a whole lot of parade management because I'm just a simpleton. Tell me what's involved with parade management, making sure they're all going in the same direction.
That's a good plan, yes. It's to give you an idea, if I can, last year we had 108 units in the parade.
Wow.
There were 2,600 individuals actually in the parade, and our crowd on the street was estimated at 34,000 by the Mesa Police Department. So it's a big crowd. It's grown. I've been involved since 2009, and the parade has grown every year. What's involved, you say? Well, there's a lot of, for months and months ahead of time, there's a lot of soliciting entries, there's fundraising, all those activities go on. On parade day, we begin around 6 in the morning putting out our staging operation. We actually stage in 3 different areas. One is dedicated to marching units. One is dedicated to vehicular traffic. We try to keep those 2 separate. And then we have an area that's designated for animals.
Animals?
Yeah, like horses and dogs and muskrats and those things.
I've been to a lot of parades. I've never seen a muskrat in a parade.
You need to come to the East Valley Veterans Parade.
That is a great way to, do you have what's the date on that?
This will be produced on Saturday, November the 8th. It's on Center Street in Mesa. It actually starts at 7th Street on Center and travels south down Center Street to First Avenue. Begins at 11 in the morning. If I can, you know, there's a lot of reasons to go to this because there's a lot going on in Mesa that day other than the Veterans Parade, although that is certainly the largest and most important event. But there is also, believe it or not, a gun show at the Convention Center. There's an Asian festival at the Mesa Arts Center. Mesa Old West Days runs that day right after the parade. It's just a great family event for a Saturday in Mesa.
Well, yeah, and those other things are cool, but they don't have muskrats.
That's true. That's
So you
true.
got,
Yeah.
if you got it, you got to brag about it.
Well, I
That's all
know,
I'm
we're thinking about making that our mascot.
saying. The Mesa mascot. And so how long does the parade last? Is it a couple hours?
Parade runs roughly an hour and a half from beginning to end. We actually limit the number of entries we have so that we can attempt to hit that 1 hour and a half unit. History tells us that parades that last longer than that tend to wear out spectators and they start to leave. So we've actually this year had entries that we've had to decline simply because we can't handle as many as are applying.
Now, I know you grew up in North Carolina. How long have you lived in Arizona?
I've been here for about 15 years.
Oh, great. From North Carolina, did you?
From North Carolina.
Came out here and obviously, like most of us, fell in love with the area and decided to make it home.
Fell in love with the area. A lot of my work was out this way. Met my wife, Joan, the gorgeous blonde-headed lady there, and been here ever since.
That's awesome. And you know what? I know you're too modest, but Joan let us in on a little secret. You're being inducted into the Arizona Veterans Hall of Fame prior to the parade on October 24th. Is that correct?
Yeah, we didn't need to talk about that.
Well, yeah, I think we did, didn't we?
Thank you.
Good for you.
Thank you. I still don't know how to react about that, and but Joan tells me I'll get used to it, but I'm not there yet. You know, uniquely, we have 5 service reps in the parade, basically a representative for each of the 5 branches of service, and all 5 of those this year are current members of the Arizona Veterans Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's awesome. What branch were you in?
I was in the Navy. I served in the Seabees, often referred to as the Dirt Navy. We were on the ground, not on ships, and spent 2 tours in Vietnam.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Do you have one of these hats?
No, but I think that one fits you well.
Yeah. I'm going to sell it to you.
No,
Trade you,
I'll
trade
pass.
you that for a muskrat.
I'll pass.
Well, that's awesome. Do we have any questions for Mr. Jim Monroe? Anybody got any? How many? I know we've raised. Any other Navy folks here? I know we've had different brands. We got another Navy. Where are the Marines? Any Marines? There's a Marine. Army? Oh, there you go. Air Force? There you go. What am I leaving out?
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard? Yeah, there you go.
My second tour in Vietnam, I was loaned to the 3rd Marine Division, so I was kind of a Marine by default that second time.
You were loaned to them. I like that. Like a free agent, you went over there for a while?
Well, I never quite decided if the Seabees didn't want me or if the Marines did, but anyway, I got loaned out that year.
That's awesome. Well, what would you, so you've been involved since 2009 with the parade?
I joined the association in 2009, and 6 weeks later, I was appointed chairman of the parade. That's kind of thankful to my wife, too, which is another story.
Well, she wanted to get you out of the house, Jim.
Yeah. So I chaired the parade in 2009, 10, 11, and 12, and then was lucky enough to find someone, a gentleman named Sid Hagel, to take it last year. So I mentored him last year, and he's the chairman again this year. Also kind of by default, I've been the president of the association since 2012. Looking for a replacement, by the way.
We'll take applications after
Yeah,
the
good
meeting.
idea.
What, now by changing it from the Mesa parade, Veterans Parade, to the East Valley, did that open up some doors and get other people kind of feeling more involved in it?
We changed the name in recognition of the fact that we had participation from cities other than Mesa. We were really becoming an East Valley event. So 2 years ago, in 2012, we changed the name to the East Valley Parade Association. And our participation has grown. We have participation from almost every city in the East Valley now, except maybe Apache Junction. I don't remember seeing an entry from them. We have the mayor and city council from Mesa that's in the parade. We have the mayor and town council from Gilbert. We have 2 council people from Chandler in the parade. And this year we have the mayor and a council person from Scottsdale in the parade. So you can see, I think by our makeup, we really are an East Valley event and not necessarily just a Mesa event. The other big change we've made last year, prior to last year, we always held the parade on Veterans Day. And you'll notice one of the issues we have with people talk about us is they'll say East Valley Veterans Day Parade. We're not on Veterans Day. We decided last year that our objective was to make this event as open and accessible as possible to everyone. And the reality is many people don't have Veterans Day off and can't attend the parade. So we changed the parade last year to Saturday in order to allow many more people to participate and come and see the parade. So that was the reason for it. I think it was a good decision, and that's what we're doing this year.
Yeah, makes sense to me. And you know what? People got to get over it. I remember when I moved to Arizona years ago, I used to go to Oktoberfest in November. So, you know, you got to do what makes sense sometimes, not just... And you know, I kind of jokingly said it earlier about parade management, but boy, I've been involved in a lot of big events. Things like that don't just happen. It's amazing the amount of man hours that go into putting something like that together, and the logistics. People just show up on the day of at 10:59 in the morning and say, "Oh yeah, parade." They don't realize the months of work, and then when it's over, you take a week off and collect your breath and start up the next one.
Start again, yeah. It's really an all year long event that occurs on one day.
Well, that's great. Anybody got any questions? We've got a microphone ready. If anybody right here up here in the front.
Do you want to talk about Bruce Crandall?
Sure. Bruce Crandall is our Grand Marshal this year. Bruce was in Vietnam and a few other places, but he served in Vietnam. He was with the 229th Attack Helicopter Battalion. They were part of the 1st Air Cavalry Division. In 2006, he was involved in the Il Drang Valley offensive. And those of you, many of you may have seen the movie We Were Soldiers. It's been out a number of years now. And in that movie, Mel Gibson played Hal Moore, who was the commander at Il Drang. And there was a helicopter pilot that was portrayed in this movie who made many, many sorties in and out of that area, bringing in replacement troops, bringing in supplies, carrying away wounded. And that individual that's portrayed in that movie is Bruce Crandall.
Wow.
Bruce actually worked in Mesa some years ago in the utility department, and he's been gone for, I don't know, 10 or 11 years now. And in 2007, he was recognized and presented the Medal of Honor. Bruce lives in the state of Washington, so we're lucky enough to finesse him into coming down and being our Grand Marshal.
Oh, that's great. Well, we really appreciate all the dedication. First of all, we appreciate your service. Thank you very much for that. And we appreciate your continued service to put this fine parade together. And you know what I like about you? I think that when it comes to a soldier or a person that's in a position like you've got, it's important not to get rattled. I don't see you getting rattled too easily. You're pretty mellow.
Oh, this is my shook up mode right here.
I like a guy that makes me feel like I'm high energy. So. And that's good. Now, you can say that, but let me get verification. Is he right? Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. I'd like to come out and see, tell me again, November 8th.
November 8th.
11 o'clock, right down. And it starts right at center, and that's right by the chamber. Sally, where's Sally? Isn't it right there? Maybe we could have some kind of cocktails at the chamber.
Yeah, my crew starts at 6, Sally.
It's the most excited I've had him since he's been up here. Well, Jim, thank you very much for your service, and thanks for stopping by to Mesa Morning Live. Thank you, sir.